Greetings and salutations. This is Tech coming directly to you through the power of the internet via the YouTube video sharing platform. And today I'm going to review Chapter 11 of the Phantom Empire. The chapter is called Queen in Chains. A Queen in Chains. Okay? This is the Phantom Empire. It stars Gene Autry, Frankie Darro, Betsy King Ross, and Dorothy Christy, which is the Queen in Chains. Okay, and it is a sci-fi western action adventure comedy. That's a quick gist right there. Gene Autry is one of the most famous cowboys of the 1930s era. He's bigger than John Wayne. So let me get off to the bat here. Since this is this is Mascot Pictures with association with Radio Ranch and everything else, which is fun. The quality of the music is very high. The audio is very good. Adjust something. That's driving me nuts. My tripod is slightly crooked. And the audio and the sound effects are exceptionally well. And going on to the effects, there's a lot of effects going on. There's water effects, electricity, lighting effects, all kinds of stuff going on. This is a movie serial. This is a 11th chapter of 12 chapters of a sequence of stories, which is basically a TV show in which requires you to go to a movie theater to watch. And going into camera work, the camera work is great. There's a lot of action scenes. The camera doesn't move around a whole lot, but the camera basically shifts angle quickly enough to create the sense of movement in itself. Cameras at this time in the era of Hollywood were really big, really heavy, and they were really hard to move around. And they were very sensitive to being moved around. So having a lot of action is kind of hard to do sometimes. And next on the itinerary, the acting is done exceedingly well by all parties. The story is actually quite good in this one. Right up in this chapter, there's a lot more. The plot thickens, the action deepens, and this has come screaming right up to the 12th chapter, which is the final chapter of this movie serial. So you have to really watch to see what happens in the 12th chapter. This chapter 11, A Queen in Chains, is actually quite good. Okay, it is not exactly the best one, but it is up there. Also, please note that the comedy duo in this series, Pete and Oscar, are now teaming up, are going along with the whole. They're in Morania right now. So we're now having fun with those two guys, along with Gene Autry and Frankie Darro and Betsy Baxter. I keep saying Betsy King Ross, which is her actual name. She is a championship horse trick rider, and Gene Autry is the singing cowboy. Right now it is death rays and electricity and atom smashing, disintegrating weapons, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's slapstick tied into the action sequences. Quite frankly, this is better than modern Star Wars. I'm not joking. This movie serial from 1935 is better than the modern Star Wars, which is apparently not that hard because modern Star Wars is teetering on becoming garbage. It's high-end, a lot of special effects, and they throw a lot of they wander off into dumb directions in the story. stories now, and the logic is not working out quite well. But this movie serial from 1935 is way better. So I highly recommend going and checking out The Phantom Empire, 1935, The Phantom Empire, starring Gene Autry and Betsy King Ross. And then you have Frankie Darro, who plays Frankie Baxter. Betsy King Ross plays Betsy Baxter. And Oscar and Pete, I forget their names, but it's something smiling with Oscar's the little epitaph for the comedy duel is actually, they're goofballs, they're dumb, but you know what? They can throw down. You can count on them to do the right thing when they need to be doing something, and yet they kind of are forgetful and goofy. So you have to laugh while they simultaneously cause havoc and stumble into very clever tricks by being goofballs. So you really should probably watch this movie serial. Is actually quite good. I would rather watch this movie serial over again, which I have multiple times, than watch Star Wars Episode 7 or Episode 8. I'm not joking. I'd rather watch this movie serial repeat over and over again as opposed to watch the new Star Wars movies. The effects might be better in the new Star Wars movies, but this one is more grounded and better rounded. I'm not joking. I much rather watch The Phantom Empire. So thank you very much for watching my video, and please note right now everyone is now sending me tons and tons of messages about Piranha Plant. A lot of people who declare that you don't need an email from Nintendo for Piranha Plant if you bought the digital version, or all of a sudden coming to me and hunting down, I don't have the code and I'm not getting Piranha Plant right now. Oops, this is, I was trying to be really nice, and I kind of believed these people at first when they showed up. I originally made a video with a short guide, not terribly worded out or anything. I had no script, but I explained how you do get Piranha Plant with the physical version, and then I explained from what I knew how to get Piranha Plant and with the digital version. I don't have the digital version. I don't know anyone who went with the digital version. So I went with the information that was given to me officially by Nintendo and people on the internet a long time ago. Like when you were pre-ordering the digital, when you were pre-purchasing the digital version off the eShop, Nintendo stated that it'll automatically register and they will send you an email. So I went with that information, that and the backed up information of people showing actual photos of the email that was sent to them when they pre-purchased the game. So I went and did that route and made that video, and then I would get occasionally a few people who would tell me I was completely wrong and I should stop spreading bad information. So then I kind of followed their trail, and I went to a few video game news sites, which is a mistake, The original reason why I started this channel was because I got really irritated with fake gaming news sites, and basically gaming journalism sites, they're basically dubious from the start. The moment you start hiring a bunch of people to do video game reviews and news, and you make an organization out of it, it immediately starts to spiral into garbage because as bad information starts spreading. People start covering topics they should never touch in their entire life, okay? So gaming journalists are crap, Incidentally, a lot of gaming journalists are basically just tech journalists that got pushed down into the gaming scene because they were basically so bad at their job that the actual news companies don't want them up doing any work for them, seriously. And the whole problem is that considering news media, the mainstream media is pretty much sinking to shit, uh, considering that the gaming journalists are way worse. They are just worse than shit. So they have no most gaming like the super majority of gaming journalists, like 65+% I've ever come across, if you do a little bit of research into the game or actually play the game they're talking about, you immediately pick up the misinformation that they're posting. So they're bad. There's a lot of them that are bad, and then the remainder are like mediocre gamers. Whereas I used to joke sometimes is that the moment you become a journalist, you basically cease being a gamer or anything like that. So yeah. So there's a lot of issues in that, but basically coming back around to the whole point is that these people pestered me, got really mad at me for saying that you get an email when you buy the digital version, you eventually will get an email for Piranha Plant, and they got mad at me for saying that. So I went with their sources and sent back messages back to everyone, and basically stating it looks like, according to various gaming news sources, says there is no email that goes out. Well, Nintendo updated their wiki or their little facts and guides on this stuff, and I came across this again. And when Nintendo was starting to promote and remind people, hey, Piranha Plant is coming up very soon. You should really get registering your games. And I go into the new. Oh yeah, you get an email. Nintendo still says you get an email. Well, here's the crazy thing. So many gaming news sites are basically saying all you have to do is buy the digital version. Piranha Plant's automatically included. You don't have to do anything else, which is false. I don't know where they got that information from, but according to Nintendo, when you buy the digital version, you automatically register, but you will still receive an email to your you'll get an email that goes directly to your email account that's tied to your Nintendo account. It's that simple. So sorry for getting off into that rant and rambling into circles, but this is really annoying me. Plus, on the annoying side is I'm just getting chains of people right now. At this moment of me recording this video, I'm getting like messages of people, oh my god, I need to go and find out why I don't have Piranha Plant. I got the digital version. Oh no, well, yeah, you went with a gaming journalism sites. It's a garbage guide, and you come across my badly edited video with me rambling in circles, and you are now. Why don't I have Piranha Plant? I must have lost the email somewhere. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My best guess is first and foremost, gaming journalism is cancer now. News journalism is sinking into that territory, or is in that territory, depending on which areas and outlets you go through, and particularly when it's political, cultural stuff. When it comes to culture and politics, mainstream journalism is just pure garbage, left and right. I'm not joking. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Both sides are shit, okay? The left and the right, news journalism, when you get into politics and culture, stuff like that, you basically should like tell the journalists, shut the hell up. you are just pompous idiots, okay? And just ignore them, because they're like billboards from The Simpsons. That one Treehouse of Horror episode where the mascots and the billboards came alive from lightning strikes, and they start going around destroying the town of Springfield, and people realize they come up with a song. They come to a realization that the power of advertising is via the attention of the people. So what people did was, they came up with a song to remind and get people's attention to ignore the advertisements or the billboards. So when people drew their attention away from the billboard, the mascots, it's actually the mascots, not the billboards, but the mascots began to die. Uh, that is what you need to do with mainstream media when it comes to politics and opinions and culture stuff. A lot of it is garbage. Like 95% of it is garbage, or like 85% of it's pure garbage. People don't do not there's not very many people who do objective news reporting anymore in that sphere, okay? So you basically have to do your own research, or you have to find the very few people like Philip DeFranco or Mundane Matt, who are like, they try to stay in the center as much as possible when it comes to topics in politics and culture. So you have to go find the hand few people out there. I mean, a hand few of the people out there who have the skills and are neutral enough of to go down the center of the street as opposed to wander to the extremes of the street on a no curb off a cliff road. Okay, imagine, if you will, the road, politics and news media as being like a road. Oh, there's the yellow line in the center. There's the right lane and there's the left lane. And right off the side of the right and the left lane is a drop-off gradient that goes deeper and deeper as you go. The problem with politics and culture is that when it comes to the news media, they are aiming you off that off that curb and off that cliff. Okay, so sorry about the rambles. Okay. It got me into a rage. I was going to make an independent video of it, and then I just threw it on the end of this video. So, sorry about that. News media kind of sucks now. Okay, they don't report stuff objectively, just the facts, or give you all the information. They are now, depending on the left or right, are basically trimming off information to aim you into a direction one way or another, and you eventually, if you go too far, you go right off the cliff in the direction in which they're aiming you in. So sorry about that. So long, and thank you for all the fish.